pride while introducing the show today, because no matter what I could do, even on the best of days, will pale in comparison to what you're going to see on the show today. Here we are at the U.S. round of the World Trials Championships. Have a quick look. See what I mean? These guys are absolutely incredible. Now let's talk to the guy mainly responsible for bringing the world's best riders here to Tennessee, Dan Brown of the Trials Training Center. So how do you feel this morning as the trials finally going to get going here?
Tired, but pretty good. We're getting off the ground. The weather seems to be holding out. I hope it doesn't rain tonight, but even if it does, we'll be fine. It'll be slippery, it'll be tough.
So what's been the biggest challenge for you leading up to this weekend?
Parking campers and basically organizing in a place that we don't normally do this, organizing such a large crowd of people, getting all the volunteers working the gate, getting everybody in here and happy. That's the biggest challenge. The course, we inspected the course yesterday with FIM officials. They were very happy. It'll be a very challenging course. All the top riders, the FIM guy thinks the top guys will be challenged, and we will separate and see who is the best for sure. Today is the national support riders. It's all of the senior classes, the junior, the women's class. So all of the kind of the support classes are riding on Friday, and then our top national riders and the top world riders will be in action Saturday and Sunday.
The Scottish trial today. Describe the loop. What have you guys set up?
Well, we call it the Scottish because it's in a classic sort of trial of the Scottish style, where we have a really long loop. We have a lot of very rocky sections, very straightforward. So the loop will probably take its toll because it's about 9 miles around, and they ride at 2 laps and 18 sections each lap. And so it'll be a test of endurance a little bit today. Who can stay focused and concentrate and not make mistakes.
Since they only get to ride one day, you're giving them a good, long, hard day, right?
They will get their money's worth, I promise. I think I'm gonna give a pacifier to the first person that complains.
You know, there are many talented riders here this weekend, and I want to make sure I point out that some of those talented riders are women. We spent some time with one of the best in North America, Christy Williams.
Trials is a family sport for me, so my dad used to ride, and my dad's dad used to ride, and my great-grandma used to ride my great-grandpa's sidecar in Ireland, so it's a long time.
Why trials is such a good sport for women?
One of the biggest things is the bike's 150 pounds. My bike, anyways, is 150 pounds. So just having a lighter machine, it's a lot easier for girls to control. It's easier sport for girls because a lot of it's balance and coordination and agility, which are things that girls tend to be better at than guys. And it's a super low-risk sport. Probably what you're going to see this weekend at the World Round isn't going to prove my theory, but for the average rider, it's a low-risk sport. Everything happens at a lot slower speed, so there's less risk of injury. And because you get to walk the sections and make sure you know where you're going and have a minder with you at all times, then it's a lot safer than a lot of other motorsports. Physical strength and everything else any girl can do. You just really have to want to do it, and sometimes it's really hard. You look at a big rock, you go, I don't really want to go up that. A lot of it, whenever you get up to an expert level, there's a lot of a fear factor, I guess. I just moved up to the expert class, running with expert level boys in my own hometown and in my own regional series. And then for the U.S. Nationals, the women's class just moved up to the expert sportsman line. So we actually ride half support lines and then half expert lines. And that's a pretty big step for women in trials. So.
Have you had a chance to ride with Leah a bit from Spain?
There's been a couple of times. Usually whenever they plan out the World Championship Series, they run a Women's World Championship event followed by another one the following weekend. And the week in between, they try to run a trial school for women because they're really trying to promote the sport, especially in Europe. And so I've been able to ride with her at that, and she is just absolutely unbelievable. even whenever you're watching guys ride and then you see what she can do, you still say she's unbelievable, and it's not just because she's a girl, it's just because she's unbelievable. I've been practicing pretty hard. I went to the Scottish in between the last set of nationals. I've been practicing in Colorado with a bunch of the guys in between, and I'm hoping that it's going to pay off today. So, thank you very much.
You know, it's great that so many amateur riders from all around the country can come and ride on the same weekend as the World Round guys. Now that we've seen them a little bit, let's take another step up. I had a chance to talk to Patrick Smodgy, who's already won a few amateur national championships and is now riding full-time as a pro, and he's only 15 years old. It's a good chance that we'll see Patrick competing in the World Rounds before too long.
Well, I started riding in 2000 when I got my first bike, and since then I've just been trying to ride as much as I can, getting better bikes. And in 2002 I went to the first youth nationals and won one round and then ended up second overall. Then in 2003 I went back and won the championship for the youth open, and in 2004 I rode ES class nationals and won the championship for that when I was 14. And 2005 I moved up to expert and won one round and ended up third overall, and rode at the end of the year I moved up to pro at the last round and finished sixth for that round, and just to get my feet wet for this year and just trying to move up the ladder this year, getting better, learning more at every event, and just trying to get closer to the top.
Talk a little bit about how big of the transition from getting into the pro class today and how you're dealing with that.
It's a lot different for me because like the time limit is like the biggest issue. Like I'm just not used to being rushed at the end of the section. You get to the end and you have like just not much time, so you got to hurry up, and then you usually make mistakes right at the end, even if you have a really good ride. So it's just a lot different for me. I don't have quite the mental game as they do, like the knowing how to ride the whole trials without making like mistakes and being able to come back from mistakes really good, and just gotta just watch how they do everything.
Just tell us about where you ride and how you practice and all that good stuff.
Well, all our stuff is man-made with a backhoe, just like cement tubes and slabs and limestone chunks and logs. And for the winter, it's really cold all the time, so we have an indoor shed that we bring the same type of obstacles in there and ride all winter to just keep me going. And it gets pretty boring because there's not like real terrain, but it's better than nothing.
Still ride the bicycle quite a bit?
Oh yeah, trying to move up in that too, because it helps a lot with balance and technique and stuff. Get over to Europe as soon as I can and ride with all the top guys and hopefully be a top world round rider someday. It's my ultimate goal.
Throttle Down will be back at the Trials Training Center right after this. Hello and welcome back to Throttle Down. Now usually we have a riding tips segment on the show brought to you by the Trials Training Center with help from Bruce LaRiche, their pro instructor. But we're going to do something a little bit different on the show today. Now the day before the competition, all the World Round competitors and the National Pro riders got to go inspect the sections that they'd be competing on. So here's some insight into that inspection. We'll hear from Bruce LaRiche, his minder, some guy by the name of Ryan Young, and we'll also hear from Jeff Aaron a bit. Have a look.
You just brakes down to here, and then no brakes over to there. And you wait till the front tire's all over to there, so the rear tire's over this, and you hit the next brake, and then you can float the front tire all the way to the right ribbon, and you got 20 feet to save it until you ever have to dab.
Yeah. Now, what are you guys primarily looking at? Is it like tire placement, where you can find traction?
Yeah. Where you can accelerate, that's a good question. And then obviously this next part, this is where we're going to start getting points, obviously. So now we'll stay here forever till we figure out how to clean this without getting points. There's going to be 10 variations. You just got to come up with the best one. So you can't accelerate from there. No. So obviously I look at bringing the rear tire down here, and then when you're in this position, you look at what can you do from this position, and if nothing matches up, you might have to go back to the slippery takeoff. It's kind of like a puzzle. You just got to put the pieces together. If it doesn't fit, it won't work.
I was almost looking at this one here, driving it down, and then stuffing the front tire in there, then the rear tire drops right in. It almost locks it.
That is good. You're gonna yap it all the way across.
I was thinking you could get up on the spine.
Up on here? Oh yeah. Good idea.
Gotta watch the marker though.
And again, main thing getting set up for something like this, you want to make sure you're just on good traction. And
Yeah,
get
no
your
matter
bike.
which way I decide, I'll still set up on the rock. You know, the rock's got traction, supposedly, if you don't carry mud up on it, so everyone will still set up on the rock. Two ways, straight up or loop, but that's really just keep it.
That final left turn.
Yeah. It's got to be a good bank return to actually float and keep it going. And this one,
Yeah, this one, I mean, you just keep your front tire on that back edge and just wide open and slipping, and then when it's right at that edge of that rock, big, huge pop over the root and suck it down, and hopefully keep the speed all the way.
just suck it and not
Yeah,
hop in it.
right, no hop. No, squat down and carry it all the way past the root, another big squat, slip.
Straight up. This is steep, but
Mainly minders are to catch bikes, but if you have a minder that can really tell you what's good and what's bad about a section, that's the advantage he has. So I just try to tell him, that's not a good line, that's a good line. I know the traction, I know what's going to happen, I can read the future. If he's looking at the line, I'm like, there's no way that's going to work. And I have to talk him out of that line, that it's not possible. And keep him on lines that are really realistic and really possible. Yeah, I rode the TDN for 8 years straight. Probably was from 1985 to 92. And I went to Europe for 5 weeks. I rode 4 world rounds. The first one was in Spain, the next one in Belgium, the next one in England, and the next one in Northern Ireland. So I rode 4 back-to-back world rounds, and that was around 85. And I rode the world rounds in America for several years. My best placing ever was 14th place. That got me 2 world points and got me ranked in the world. Hard to get ranked. Right now, I myself wouldn't even want to ride a world round right now because it's so difficult. I mean, you have to be a professional riding every day, know every technique perfectly. Otherwise, you're just way over your head.
What's going through your mind right now? Penny for your thoughts.
Treachery. Green rocks are not my friend.
So, key to looking at sections is trying to find out where you can find some traction?
Pretty much. Stuff's gonna stay slick all day, so just gonna have to try to pick some good lines and try to stay on them because everything's rounded off and has green moss and all kinds of stuff on it, so should be pretty tough.
Try to pick out like a couple different lines in case one starts getting too nasty and slippery, or
so far there really hasn't been a whole bunch of options, I don't think. Kind of have to see if you guys go through and see how the things are going, and then maybe make adjustments depending on how the lines are being ridden. So for right now I'm just trying to get a look at basic overview of the section, and then tomorrow I'll tune it up and decide which ones I want to do.
you usually like to hang back a little bit and watch a few guys go through?
The best I can, you know. Probably it'll be a tough day tomorrow, so you might not be able to spend too much time, but definitely would like to, you know, have a good ride, so try to stay focused.
Is it nice to have a world champion cleaning off the rock for you, or what?
You guys do a good job grooming.
European miners know all the tricks, don't they?
Move some rocks around and scrub off some slime and let her fly.
Team Lampkin's especially impressive. They got all 4 of them in a line, just going up, ripping up roots and smoothing the way. Good.
Yeah, they're pretty serious excavators.
Why isn't it your minder out there doing any of that right now?
My feet are still dry.
Passa que si quedes penjat per aquí, què fas? Bueno, has de girar i... Ei, que parant per allà solament les
Welcome back to Throttle Down. Now, a great many things happened over the course of this weekend. Among other things, Cody Webb won his first national, Jeff Aaron wrapped up his 10th national championship, and Adam Raga showed why he is the reigning world champion.
How's it going, Cody? Tell us about yesterday, man.
Yeah, I came out on top, you know, pretty happy. The family's happy. Lots of practice during the week after school by myself, on the weekends, so I'm glad it finally happened. And maybe I got it off my back and it'll be a little bit easier now. But then today was probably pressure to do it again. It was pretty slippery out there, but my big long legs helped me out with pushing. Well, mainly it was where you knew you could do well, you would just hang on and fight for it and keep it going. And then there were some sections where I just decided that a 3 was the best I could do. But what really kept me going out there was I did really well in the creek sections compared, once we got on the dirt and the dry rocks, I couldn't really keep it on 2 wheels that well, but I did really good on the creek sections, which I think helped me out with the win.
We got a lot of rain last night. Is that going to make much difference for today?
And the creeks should probably be the same. Maybe a couple of the hills that you go up will get a little slicker, but they already got pretty slick yesterday by the second lap. But I know for sure that the limestone rocks, all the dirt out there, be a lot muddier, and try to get going up the rocks, and those will get slippery. So I'm looking for it. It'll probably be a little bit harder, but after yesterday, a little bit of practice for today, so we'll see how that goes.
Today was, because everyone rode through all the sections and stuff from the previous day, you know, the stuff got a little easier in the creeks. That stuff gave me a real hard time yesterday, and today was a lot better start. I had a good first lap. My second lap wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be, but it was still enough to take the win, and then ended up with the 10th championship today, so I'm thrilled. It's awesome. So yeah, I can't complain. We've been doing this a long time, and this feels great to get another one under our belt. Yeah. Just because of the rain leading up to the event, you know, last couple weeks it's been raining hard here, and sections weren't like crazy spectacular, like huge steps and whatnot, but everything was just so greasy that it was just made it difficult to really, you know, attack. So I was a little out of my element, and you know, but overall I'm happy with the way things turned out.
Well, great. So now they got the championship. You can go to Rhode Island and just have a bunch of fun, right?
That's right. I'm off the hook.
Former world champion Kevin Schwantz. Now I hear from Dan Brown that you come to the training center every once in a while and do a little trials riding yourself. Is that right?
Absolutely. Every chance I get, I try and get on my trials bike or my motocross bikes and play around a little bit. Trials riding was one of the first forms of competition that I ever did as a kid. So I think there's lots of people out there that ride motorcycles a lot that don't really ever learn the basics, and that's one of the great things about trials riding. It really does emphasize how important pec pressure is, and you know, getting traction and trying to maintain it.
There's stuff you can even apply to road racing.
Absolutely, no doubt.
So, what do you think of these world-round guys out here, huh?
You know, it just amazes me. We were looking at second or the third section this morning, like, there's no way anybody's gonna make it up that. Lampkin and Raga and Fujinami just. Next thing you know, straight up the top. So they really are. I mean, I don't stand here and say, oh, I can do that by any stretch of the imagination. I got a complete respect for those guys and their ability.
Yeah. So maybe the World Trials is even a tougher World Championship than the road racing?
Oh, there's no doubt it is. You know, some of the stuff these guys are forced to climb with the moss and the rocks and the mud and the water and the slickness of it. You really got to have some special skills to be able to do this.
Well, I'm sure you're not a bad trials rider yourself, because you got some special skills too. So thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Perfect, as you would say.
At the back.
So Mark Lampkin here. So what was your impression of the first US Grand Prix here at the Trials Training Center this weekend?
I thought the sections were exceptionally good. The organisers had done their best. Obviously the first time that they've done it, so everything wasn't perfect, but in general, fantastic event. And especially with the extra rain last night, that just put the icing on the cake for us. It made it even more challenging. Well, old school trials, it were very difficult, but not dangerous. I mean, trials is dangerous by nature, but I wouldn't say this were dangerous at all. Very good. I can't believe how high the standard is now. I mean, Dougie, I think he's probably riding better than ever. People probably thinking he's second and third now and he's slipping down the ladder, not riding as well, but in my opinion he's riding very well, but the youngsters are just coming and overtaking him a bit, you know. That's inevitable, it happens in all walks of life. We were very ill last night, but Raga rode fantastic. Don't take anything away from Raga. I don't think anybody could have beaten him this weekend the way he's ridden. He did his absolute best. He didn't feel absolutely 100% today, but I don't think we could have beaten Raga's score. That's being honest.
What do you do now before Japan?
I'm going to go home, have a few beers, look after my livestock, give the wife a kiss, and then get on the plane.
Yeah, first trial here has been very nice. First day a little bit easy, but second day with the rain conditions get much better. I think it has been a nice competition.
Very, very challenging for you guys?
Yeah, very challenging and very nice.
How does this place compare to where you usually ride in Spain?
This place is fantastic because now we in Europe we can find this kind of places, but in 1,000 meters high. That means that the bikes are not working so good. Here you found this place at 300 meters high that the bike is working perfectly, so we are very happy to ride in places like this.